Hi, everybody. It is Saturday, December 4th. This was an early one. It's going to be early through Tuesday. I had to get up early this morning and drive at like 7 a.m. down across town to Culver City to the Sony studios to get a COVID test. We're doing there's a show called Live in Front of an Audience or something like that, where they're doing like old Norman Lear shows with new casts and absolutely live in front of a studio audience. And on Monday and Tuesday, we're doing Facts of Life in Different Strokes. Cheche Alara is the musical director on this, and he called me and asked me to do it, but had to go get a PCR test. They wouldn't accept a quick test at Sony, so I had to go, tried to get one locally where I am today. I called yesterday about 30 places, and nobody had an opening to get one of those tests. So I had to get up and drive across town this morning to stick a Q-tip basically up my nose for 15 seconds and then get in my car and drive back home again. Just nuts. But I'm really looking forward to doing the shows. Doing something live like that is really exciting and fun, and I love the pressure that those things create. And I'll try to do some filming down there if I can sneak something in and give you a heads up as to what's going on with that. But it should be fun. I have no idea who the casts are. I see Jimmy Kimmel's name appearing on a call sheet and Norman Lear. So we'll see. The week has an adventure. So I'm going to be working on books all day today and tomorrow. And I've gone through all my labels. Blue, who I did the book with, ordered me another box of labels, which came in, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to pick those up. But I was really surprised when the box of labels has 3,000 labels in it, and I've gone over that. So it's been an adventure, I will say that. I'm going to go back today musically and revisit an artist who I've done so many albums with her. God, it must be 20 albums over the years. A Japanese artist named Mari Hamada. And this is an album that we did called Introducing back in 1994. But it's amazing. I've been working with her for so long now, and we're like midway through a new album. So she's ongoing, but she was... she, for a long time, was known as the heavy metal queen of Japan, but she also leans heavily towards pop. She's an incredibly creative singer and writer, and it's always an absolute treat to work with her. I think the album we're doing is going to be at least the 24th album she's done, and I've worked on just so many of them, and it's always an absolute treat. The project we're doing now has been difficult only from the standpoint that because of COVID, she couldn't come from Japan to be here because she's usually very hands-on in the studio and comes totally prepared. And the projects like the one we're working on now, Greg Bissonet's playing drums on it and Mike Landau's playing guitar. There's other people involved, but it's really a trip being in the studio with her, and she's absolutely the most delightful woman. And when we were in Japan with the immediate family and with Toto, I invited her, and she came to our shows and hung out. So it was great, and I look forward to finishing this new album and then seeing what she has to do after this. But I'm going to go through a few songs because I did stuff from a different album earlier on. These are completely different songs and a different team of players today, but I'm going to do these, and then I'm going to get to work here. The weekends just don't exist anymore. I really thought when I became this old fart, I'd be like just out, sitting in the backyard with my scissor trimming my lawn. And man, it is just crazy, insane, busy all the time. Just so looking forward to really doing a real tour. We've got a gig coming up, our last gig of the year with the immediate family is at the club in Santa Clarita on December 19th. So anybody who's out here in this area, please come out and join us, and we're going to rock this crazy year out the window. And let's be done with this one and get started on a new year, and hopefully things will be improving in it. That's what we got to hope for. So this album was produced by Mark Tanner, engineered by Bill Drescher and Mark Green, and mixed by Bill Drescher and mastered by Steve Markison. Steve Markison engineered our Barefoot Servants 2 album, and mastered that one, and lots of other albums that I worked on. He's another one of the major mastering engineers in the business. And the last few albums I've done have been produced by Mari and in conjunction with Bill Drescher. Bill Drescher is probably one of the finest engineers I've ever worked with. He's an amazing, every time we sit there and we walk in and listen to the first playback, like Bissonette and I look at each other going, unbelievable. I mean, you get so used to a certain level of engineering, and then all of a sudden there's that guy that comes along and you just kind of go, holy crap, God, that sounds good. That's exactly what I want it to sound like all the time, and it doesn't. But there's a lot of great engineers, but Bill's pretty exceptional on the whole scene. So I'm going to do a couple of tunes from this one. This first one is called Going Through the Motions, and the band is myself, the wonderful Mike Baird on drums, Pooh Bear, Mike Landau on guitar, and if anybody's been out seeing the James Taylor Jackson Browne tour, Mike Landau is the guitarist with James at this point. Paul Merkovich is on keyboards on this, Steve Klong on percussion, and who is that? Who else was on this one? Brett Carsid. I have his name. I can't say. I wrote down. I should be a doctor the way I write sometimes. I'm scribbling copious notes, and everybody deserves to be honored. So let me find him on here. Going through the motions. Brett Garsed, Garsed. He's on acoustic guitar. Sorry, Brett. I just, scribbling away like crazy. So here's Going Through the Motions, Mari Hamada, and the album is called Introducing.
Forever
I would have been using Frankenstein on these tracks, and I probably looked more like this when I did these tracks. You know, this is back in the Brown days. I look at myself sometimes and I think I'm a negative of what I once was. It's a trip. People send me pictures all the time. There's another one somebody just sent me from way back. I think this is probably, oh, come on, piece of crap. This is probably that one. Oh, actually, this one was from 1975. It's even farther back, and this is the same period. Somebody just sent me this one. Crazy. And time goes on, and then, you know, walk through the house, see a reflective surface, and he thinks some old dude broke into the house. Who's that? And it's a trip. Okay, here's another song. This is called "I Have a Story to Tell," and the TV show we're doing, I think, is called "Live in Front of a Studio Audience." And they've done a bunch of these remakes of all these old shows. So like I said, I'll be doing Facts of Life in Different Strokes on Monday and Tuesday. But I have a story to tell, Mari Hamada. This is myself, again, Mike Baird, Mike Landau, Paul Merkovich on keyboards, and Tommy Gervin on electric sitar, and Steve Klong on percussion, and Mari, vocalist. So here we go. She covers a lot of different styles and stuff, does them all really amazing.
Long ago, I can still recall that day. So the silence in your eyes, you said goodbye, moving on, trying hard to find my way. Still I feel your kiss from a million miles away. Out of the dark, these echoes running through my heart. You're back again to show me who you are. Talk to me and let me know you're here tonight. We'll face the
She sings her butt off. She's really, it's amazing. Most of the albums I've done with her, she's singing only in Japanese, so it's really cool to hear her doing one in English. And the thing that's just to me, we always kind of look at each other, Landau and Bissonette and I and Bill, and we kind of sit there looking at Mari, and she looks like she's like 25 years old still. I mean, you know, she is not a kid by any means, but she's got a youthful energy and look that it's almost like it's really insane. I mean, every time we look at her, we just go, she looks the same as she did like 25, 30 years ago when we were working with her. It's pretty mind-blowing. She's a pretty special artist. Here's one last tune I'll do from this one. It's called Private Heaven. And again, myself and Mike Baird and Mike Landau and Paul Merkovich on keys and Tommy Gervin on electric sitar and Steve Klong on percussion and Mari vocals. And hold on, let me check one thing here. I want to see one. Seeing where this ends. Sorry, I'm just. Like this one, Private Heaven, was written by Mari, Jody Gray, Hiroki Otsudi, and Mark Tanner. I Have a Story to Tell is Mari Hamada, Mark Tanner, Jody Gray, and Paul Merkovich. It might be Paul Mark, I don't know. And Going Through the Motions is Mari Hamada, Mark Tanner, Jody Gray, and Hiroyuki Otsudi. Just want to get writers' credits out there on these songs. But she's pretty special. So here we go. This is the Private Heaven. as you might get the impression, I really love drums. I'm like the consummate air drummer. It's my relationship in that rhythm section is with drums, and I've just always felt love playing, especially guys like Mike Baird. So good, yeah, it's just great. A little tech thing here. People keep writing to me saying, "What's that clipped on your bass on the headstock?" This is my TC Electronics Polytuner. So when you're tuning, you just turn this up, turn it on, and then it just senses the vibrations in the neck. It's a really accurate, at least for bass, it's an incredibly accurate tuner. And it's, some of them are really kind of obnoxious looking. This thing kind of disappears, especially this is a white one, but the black ones pretty much go away. It's a great little device. So that's Mari Hamada, and I'm going to implore you, when I talk about all these artists, if you Google them up, there's lots of information about all of them. They all have really fascinating lives and the journeys they've taken, where a lot of times people they hear about somebody and they think, well, they just made it. Then you look and you realize their history, starting from childhood and things that they did with like choirs in school and, as grammar school students, and how things evolved in different relationships that came up in their lives and connections that they made that ended up with these remarkable careers. And also the same with when you look up these people, you can, when I talk about the musicians, people like Mike Baird and Mike Landau and all these other musicians who I try to mention every time I do a video, look them up, because they really have amazing histories. And sometimes it's surprising where you think you know that name by one kind of music, and then all of a sudden you find them doing other things that were completely, you had no idea you were listening to them, or that they had that kind of chops. So I'm giving you like a Cliff Notes version of all this stuff, and you can go in and if you're interested in this kind of stuff, and fill in the blanks and post the information you have maybe that I've missed. So that's that. I've got a bunch of stuff to do. The dogs are out barking there. I see them up. I was out picking persimmons this morning too, and they got hold of one of the persimmons and were running around with it like it was a toy until it finally just sort of disintegrated on them. But I have friends that love persimmons, and the tree's pretty bountiful, so I picked another big basket to distribute amongst my friends. I'm out of here. I am going to say thank you again to everybody who works, especially in healthcare, because their weekends don't exist. They are working in hospitals trying to save people's lives. And I can't think of anything more honorable than what they do. And I absolutely respect them, and my heart goes out to them every single day. I doubt seriously, if when all this started, that anybody thought a couple of years later numbers in some areas are worse than they've ever been, because people are refusing to do the right things. And went to the theater last night to see at the Amundsen Theater to see A Christmas Carol. And man, getting in, you had to show identification, show proof of vaccination, get a wristband. I mean, it's real involved, but they're doing it right. And everybody in that audience had a mask on. And this is the only way this is ever going to get better. So take care of yourself, your family, your friends, and your community, your global community, because there are people traveling all over the world, and things are getting spread by people coming from other places, and you don't want to go places and get sick. So that's that. Mari Hamada. So check her out. This album was called Introducing from 1994, but she has, like I said, an extensive discography. And I've had the pleasure of playing on many, many of her albums. So take good care, and I will see you all tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.